Sarah let out a quiet sigh as she stared at the single little pea sitting all alone at the edge of Leo's plate. Across from her, Leo, her energetic 3-year-old, was completely focused on dissecting a chicken nugget like a tiny surgeon performing a very important operation. The broccoli, ignored. The peas, invisible. Just one bite, sweetie, Sarah asked softly, trying to sound calm even though exhaustion was creeping into her voice. Leo shook his head immediately. Nope, absolutely not. The broccoli beside his mountain of nuggets may as well have been toxic waste. And honestly, dinner had started to feel like a battlefield. Sarah missed the old days. The days when Leo would happily gobble up mashed carrots, pureed spinach, basically anything she put in front of him. Somewhere around his 2nd birthday, though, everything changed. It was like a switch flipped overnight. Food that used to be exciting suddenly became suspicious. But later, Sarah would learn something important. This phase was completely normal. One afternoon at a playgroup, a warm and reassuring pediatrician named Dr. Lena explained it to her with a smile. It's called food neophobia, she said gently. The fear of new or unfamiliar foods. And trust me, Sarah, a lot of toddlers go through this. Dr. Lena explained that around 18 months to 2 years old, kids begin realizing they're their own little people. They want independence, choices, control, and refusing food. That's one of the easiest ways toddlers say, "I'm the boss of me." At the same time, their senses become extra sensitive. Tiny changes in texture, smell, or even color can completely change how food feels to them. That soft pea might suddenly feel weird in Leo's mouth. That bright green broccoli, maybe it just looked too green. And suddenly Sarah realized something. Leo wasn't trying to be difficult. He was just being 3. So instead of forcing bites and turning meals into stressful negotiations, Sarah slowly began changing her approach. First came what Dr. Lena called the golden rule. Sarah's job was to decide what food to offer, when to serve it, and where meals happened. Leo's job, to decide whether he wanted to eat, and how much. No more begging. No more just one bite. No more pressure. If Leo only ate rice and ignored the fish, that was okay. Sarah stopped obsessing over one meal and started looking at the bigger picture instead. Then came another lesson. Exposure without pressure. Kids often need to see a new food over and over before they feel comfortable trying it. Sometimes 10 times, 15, even 20. So Sarah started placing tiny portions of new foods on Leo's plate beside foods he already loved. She didn't mention them. Didn't encourage him. Didn't bargain. Sometimes Leo just stared at the food. Sometimes he poked it with one finger like it was a science experiment. One time, he licked a bell pepper slice. Then made the most dramatic, disgusted face Sarah had ever seen. She almost laughed out loud. But she kept going. Only, patiently. She also started involving Leo in the kitchen. He helped wash fruit, stir oats, pick apples at the grocery store. He even planted tiny herb seeds in little pots by the window. And somehow, once he watched basil grow with his own eyes, it became way less scary. It was almost magical. Sarah realized that when kids feel connected to food, they're more willing to explore it. So she made meals playful too. Toast became star toast. Broccoli turned into tiny trees. Carrots became smiley faces. Dinner slowly started feeling less like a fight, and more like an adventure. And little by little, things began to change. One evening, without anyone saying a word, Leo picked up a tiny star-shaped bell pepper slice. He studied it carefully, sniffed it, then took the smallest little bite. Sarah froze. Leo's face scrunched up for a second, then relaxed. "Yummy," he announced proudly before taking another bite. Sarah's heart practically exploded with joy. Now, Leo didn't suddenly become a perfect eater overnight. He still had his favorite foods. Still had no thank you days. But the stress was gone. Meals became calmer, happier, softer. And Sarah finally understood something that changed everything. Picky eating wasn't defiance. It was growth. It was learning. It was independence. And with patience, understanding, and a little creativity, she was helping Leo build a healthy relationship with food. One tiny bite at a time. That little pea might still roll away across the plate sometimes. But now, instead of frustration, Sarah felt hope. Because tomorrow might bring another tiny victory. Maybe even one involving a green vegetable.